Well, it sounds like everybody's been real receptive to, this opening weekend for the XFL. I'm honestly saying I want to pose this question to y'all. Do y'all think that the XFL has something here that could possibly be sustained at least for the next 3 to 5 years or more?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The league was thriving before it got COVID shut it down. Like COVID shut everything down in 2020. Their numbers were, I'm sure their numbers were high then. Like I said, the St. Louis Battlehawks, they were selling out the dome. Like I'm pretty sure they sold out every home game up until the league, had to cease operations. So I think it's good. I just like in the with the USFL, I think you're gonna see a lot of these players end up at NFL training camps. You know, right? There's the season's gonna end in May, and I think you'll see, some of them players get called just as the USFL with Turpin, he was an MVP, and then he got called up by the Cowboys and made the team, and then made the Pro Bowl. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be sustainable for sure.
Yeah, I think I again I hadn't really got to check out opening weekend like talking about it, but I think on a bigger scale, when you look at it like this, like within this whole country, we love football. We love football. And with only the NFL being such a limited amount of time, with the XFL coming into play, giving us something new and different, if the layout is right and it's bringing something entertaining for the people to watch, I think it has the potential to thrive. And especially if you got someone as famous as The Rock, of course, who's the owner and behind the marketing and all of that stuff, I think it has the ceiling as a roof, ceiling is potential, you know. I think it has a long, I think it has a good bit of potential to go, man.
Yeah, and if we're just
I'm rooting
comparing
for
it
it.
to the XFL, to the USFL, I think the quality of the game has looked better this weekend than it has uh, throughout the USFL season. That's just my opinion, but you can tell that they really did a good job hiring coaches, right? Like you got Bob Stoops, you got Wade Phillips, all of them were either great college or NFL head coaches. Hines Ward was a great player. Rod Woodson was a great player in the NFL. So I think they've done a good job making sure to pick the right coaches. That way, the product on the field looks good. And so far, I mean, like I said, I think the quality of football that we've seen this weekend has looked better than whatever the USFL had. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that, not to cut anybody off, what you just said. It also brings value when you actually have people who've played the game of football and has the knowledge and the insight on the game and stuff, rather than you just having someone who might seem knowledgeable, but it's different when you have the actual experience and you know the ins and outs of the actual game as a player, and you can bring that knowledge to the upcoming players as a coach, with their history as a player. So I'm loving it. I'm rooting for him. I'm actually rooting for him. I'm hoping it thrives, man.
Good, good. What about you, JJ?
Yeah, I'm really rooting for it to thrive as well. And, what I'm curious to see, if the XFL really does decide to move beyond its 18 format in the future, I would love to see them expand into these big markets that don't have an NFL team in place, right? Like we see this with St. Louis, the Battlehawks, like they're selling out their arena. I was actually hoping tuning in that they were at St. Louis instead of San Antonio. Not going to lie to you. Yeah, just go to those various places. Columbus, Ohio. I'm talking about Ohio because that's where I'm from. OH, go Bucks. Columbus be a great environment as well. Just that, and then also I'm really curious to see how the XFL competes from a ratings perspective once the USFL starts its season, because XFL will be finishing their season, but then USFL they'll also be kicking off in early April, so that'll be really interesting to see the ratings comparison once that
Mhm.
information comes out like a couple months from now.
It's
Yeah,
funny
that's a
you
good point.
it's funny you bring that up because that was one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I was like, okay, especially like when you're first to the market. Obviously with the NFL, they have, they're the standard. But when you come in after the NFL, the XFL was the first to start so far since the season is over. Are people going to be tired of football by the time April rolls around? You know?
True football fans, no, ain't no way,
Mm-mm.
ain't no way. Because if you a real football fan, you can watch any form of football, and you might not like the product, but it's football, and you'll watch it. Me
Mhm.
speaking for myself, I'll watch NFL football. I'll go watch little kids play. I'll go watch anything, any form of football with pads on. Hell, if lingerie football came on TV, I'll probably watch that too. It's
I
No question,
football.
no question asked. No
It's
question
hey
football.
asked.
Arena football. It is football in some way, shape, or form. I watched a women's playoff Super Bowl type game like last spring. I was just sitting there watching it.
hey,
It
that
was
was you a
football
big
on
freaky
TV.
watching that, T.
That was me.
Hey, hey, JJ, if you don't know, Tyler's alter ego is Big Freaky.
That's his.
Hey, bro.
All right.
Hey, that's his Sasha Fierce.
Nah, bro.
Bruh, oh my god. I think Tyler used the wrong word. I think if you're a football addict, you're just gonna watch anything that comes on TV.
Right.
I think the casual football fan probably has their limits, but if you're a football addict, I'm sure you're good with this 365 every day, football type thing. I want to touch on JJ's point about going into bigger cities. I mean, San Antonio is a pretty big city, so how many more cities can you get the league into, right? Like Columbus is a big city. Like there's like 1 million people that live in Columbus. And I don't think people realize that because, Ohio State's there. But they just probably think it's like a small college town. But Columbus is a huge city. Um, I mean, Atlanta had a team before. Will they get another team? I think it'll be good to kind of expand because when you look at the map, it's really kind of southern heavy right now. You got like Seattle and DC, I think, are like the other, or it's very south centric right now. So, how many more, markets you can expand to, right? Like, do you go ahead and throw a team in San Diego? They don't have a football team anymore. They enjoy that. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of options that they can choose from. I mean, everybody's got some kind of like stadium or arena that can host football, so it's not going to be hard to find.
Yeah,
Hell,
and to that point,
bring another team to NOLA. We got a USFL team, we got an NFL team. Bring an XFL team too.
yeah, hey man, everybody love football. Like what I said earlier, everybody got a football dream of some sort, or you've played backyard football with your buddies or your friends or something. And some people might have not gotten that NFL chance. So if you expand more and bring the XFL to more cities and stuff, it gives more opportunities for people who have never gotten that NFL chance, but to try out for the XFL and maybe possibly, depending on their performance in the XFL, that can be a bridge to give them that chance to the NFL, and hopefully that's what the XFL brings to these players and these new cities and stuff, bringing the football teams there.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Like, it's crazy that we're talking about the XFL like this because I feel like we could talk about this all day. I really do. Like that's how good of a product that they have, and the marketing is great. Even like the animations that they have when they're going to commercial or they're doing like a replay event. Like everything seems top notch. People always talk about, you have to be before you become, if that makes sense. You got to be
Yeah,
this
yeah.
before you actually become that. And they really are setting themselves up to be a premier league in spring. And I'm here for it, bro. I love it. I absolutely love it. What you about to say, JJ?
Yeah, and I guess that's really the biggest difference between, the XFL and the USFL as of right now, because the XFL, this was multiple years in the making, right? This was something that was planned, 2-3 years down the line ever since the league did unfortunately get shut down because of COVID. Whereas, I don't know, it just seems for me when I was watching it last spring, the USFL was more, we'll figure it out in the moment. And that kind of showed in its presentation as time. It's still a good league, and I still enjoyed watching it and talking about it, with my fellow peers. But that's just really the biggest difference for me.